You might remember if you were at the Bray airshow, there was a gorse fire on Bray Head and the smoke was going. There was a lot of flames. Yesterday's was huge in comparison. It looked pretty bad. You could see it all the way out beyond Shankill towards Dunleary, all the way inland. The smoke rising, causing all sorts of visibility problems in various parts of Bray. Pat Vance, Cllr Pat Vance, is a councillor that's, he's not too far away where he lives from Bray Head. Good morning, Pat.
Morning, Declan.
Good morning. That was pretty spectacular. I'm not sure how dangerous it is, but what do you make of it?
Yeah, it was very serious, the most serious now for a very, very long time, Declan. It covered a very wide area, and normally, fire started, as you say there, with the air show there, that if it had got up certainly at yesterday's level, the air show would have had to been cancelled because I believe that the smoke was detected as far away as Dublin Airport yesterday. That's the information I have. So it was very serious from that point of view. Normally, there's a lot of gorse fires, you know what I mean, on the Bray Head and that over the years, but they tended to let them, they just burn themselves out. But on this occasion, it wasn't the case at all, and certainly it was very serious. There's a house up there that certainly the Brabazon family owned that was threatened, but it wasn't damaged, I believe. And then there was also a threat to the golf course, which would be, if it had gone on the golf course, if it came to the edge of it, it would have been quite substantial as well. So there was 4 tenders, I believe, up there yesterday, and I believe they done, from all reports anyway that I have, they done a tremendous job in keeping it at bay. And I believe also the staff of the Brabazon family staff up there in Cllr done an absolute marvellous job in keeping it at bay as well. So, it was major, Declan, and even this morning in my own house, and I live in Putnam Road, there was a smell of burning timber, you know. And even in the house, that you'd have the window open and stuff like that. So it really was, and it went a long distance as well. So, and I don't think nobody knows. I don't think whether it was started maliciously or not. But I am suspicious about it. When the air show had a fire there, I believe the staff of the golf club put out a fire there, I think last week, that was starting up as well. So there is a suspicion about whether there's somebody out there that's starting these militias or not. But it was very serious. But a lot of the water, some of the water down Bray Golf Club was used that they use for watering the greens and all that type of thing. I think that was made available to the fire brigade and stuff like that as well to fight it.
How otherwise do they start? Is it like an abandoned bottle or something gets hot and the sun goes through it and starts up a very dry gorse, and that's where it starts? Yeah,
well, I mean, it's hard to know. It's really a lot of it is started through negligence of the public. You know what I mean, throwing away the cigarette or something like that. But it's hard. It's really hard to know. And I mean, when you see, and of course, the weather, if it's been dry for a long period of time, which it has been, and the weather's been good, and then there is more prone to spreading and stuff like that. You can see, I think in California at the moment, I think thousands of people have been moved out of their homes. I think 30,000 people in one area because of the dryness of the ground and that, and it travels much quicker than, you know. It takes off, but I mean, there's a lot of things can happen in regards with in lots of cases in Ireland. It's probably through negligence on behalf of the public's point of view, but which is it's very disappointing if that's the case, because I mean, it's like Bray Head and the seafront of the Jewel and Bray's Crown is it's the most magnificent area that we have, and people are free to roam with there, and there is a responsibility on the public and everyone that uses it to enjoy it, but also to protect it as well.
Yeah. So what can we do? I mean, obviously the fire brigade react to it and they do a good job.
Yeah.
Who owns the land?
The land. Well, there's a private owner that would own part of that land. Part of that land would be owned by the Mead family. Lord Meade's family, the Robinson family, I should say, and there's a farm up there as well that have been there for as long as I can remember, and also the golf club have about 120 acres that the golf club own there as well. So there's a mixture of people that own it. Now, obviously, there's not a lot of gorse on the golf club, but it is surrounded by gorse on the boundaries of it. So it came very close to doing damage, but it didn't do any damage to the golf club. But if you got damage in the golf club, it would be very, very significant, because greens and tee boxes and all that, they're a very expensive item, and they're replacing that. So, I mean, maybe we're going to have to look at the situation in regard to Bray Head. There's some people are of the opinion that there should be fire breaks on it, Declan, so that it couldn't spread and stuff like that. But I believe there was a problem previously where people wanted to put fire breaks on it, but there was an objection because it's a special area of conservation. So there's special protection on Bray Head that we have, and we all agree on it. In regard to that, that was unanimously agreed in the council in regard to housing and stuff like that. Only people who have in the farms and have a big interest will be allowed build on it. It's practically impossible now to get a house on Bray Head, and most people agree with that. But because of that, it builds in special preservation orders and various things like that. So maybe as a council we might have to have a look at ways that we can minimise that particular problem, you know.
It's no use trying to preserve it if it's burning down all the time.
That's exactly it. Sure, it's a great asset to us, and I mean, maybe we're going to have a look at with the professionals in the fire service in regard to servicing it, because it's difficult enough for the fire service, if we're all well aware, to get at that, and then to have access to water as well to fight it. So, I mean, maybe we might have to sit down with them and see if there's some system that of controlling the situation from getting out of hand, like it obviously did yesterday. Now, it was contained yesterday, and as I said, the people that were involved on it, from what I got, are a tremendous job in it. But it's something that can happen again and again and again, and maybe we need to sit down with the relevant people to try and address the problem.
All right. Thanks for that, Pat. Good morning to you.
Okay, Declan. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's Fianna Fáil councillor in Bray, Pat Vance, whose house is not too far away from Bray Head, where all this happened yesterday. Really spectacular, but very dangerous looking.